Hey, I'm back with more about the one thing. The last video when I talked about the one thing, I left it hanging a little bit at the end, suggesting that we were going to need to check in as we were on this journey together to make some good sense of what we mean by the one thing. And I do recommend this book by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. It's a good read, it's well written, and it's got some awesome insights. So the purpose tonight of this video is to give you some takeaways that'll be useful to you right away without reading the book, and a follow-up a little bit to what I was saying before about how do you make sense of this one thing. So here it is, and certainly these represent my adaptations to what's in the book and what I've read and learned from other sources. But here's the idea. You've got bins for your life. So let's imagine you've already done this activity where you've got a professional life bin and a personal life bin. And in each of those bins, you've created subcategories, the things that are most important within that bin. So with the family relationships in the personal bin, with your physical well-being, with your emotional well-being, with your spiritual well-being, whatever the subcategories are for you within that personal life bin. And then whatever you have in your professional life bin. You've done the work, or I'm recommending that you do the work, or you want to talk about doing the work to identify what are the most important things in that area. So these subcategories. And you can have a one thing for each of those subcategories. So that's where we don't need to just have one thing. We can have a one thing within each of our areas of focus. And we're going to need to focus on different areas at different times. And then the idea is you've set aside a block of time for that one thing. You give everything to that one thing. So here's a couple of strategies. When you're trying to be productive and get things done, get that one thing done, you've already decided what the one thing is. Then you've got to defend the work time, the time that you've set aside for it, aggressively. So here are two things to be thinking about. One, we all have to practice the art of saying no. We have to say no to things in order to keep our focus honed in on the thing that's most important. There's too many opportunities for distractions from people, from tasks that may come up, from conversations down the hall, whatever it might be. We have to practice the art of saying no. So this is one tool that you're going to take away from this video, that you're going to look for these opportunities to say no, because when you do that, you're saying yes to your one thing, and you're giving your energy to that one thing, and that's how you'll be productive with that one thing. So tool number one is say no. And I'm going to offer it to you now as practice saying no, because that's what you're going to do. It's going to take a lot of practice. You're going to catch yourself saying yes. You're going to see some situation will come up and you'll say, oh, sure. And then you're going to pause and say, there I go. And you just gave away your energy and focus and commitment to the one thing, so you're not going to have the productivity that you want there. So get started practicing saying no. And yes, there are ways to say no in a respectful manner, in a way that doesn't turn you into a big ogre, but practice saying no. The second thing to think about as you're working on really laser focusing on the one thing, the second thing to think about is this idea of accepting that you're not going to be able to do everything. So that means letting go of some things, letting go of the things that are of less importance. And that can be really difficult because the result of that could be that things feel out of order. there seems to be some level of chaos. And the One Thing book talks about this, and it talks about it as one of the 4 thieves that will steal your focus, steal your energy, steal you, and distract you from getting done what you need to get done. But it's a really insightful concept that is really true, that you're going to have to accept some messes. Whenever we really commit to the most important things, there's a whole host of things that get underserved, and we have to be willing to accept that. Because we're running around trying to cover all the bases, trying to put out all the fires, trying to juggle all of the balls. We're not really doing any one thing really well. And the whole idea of the one thing is to get maximum productivity and do that one thing really well. So you've identified that you're going to be doing this one thing with this block of time, and you're not letting anything interfere with that. And you're letting the rubble of your life build up around you, because there's a whole bunch of things you just can't attend to in the same way during this season of focusing on that one thing that's going to give you the productivity that you want, that's going to lead you to the results that you're looking for. So that's what I have to offer, a little bit of clarity on the one thing, and the 2 ideas of practicing saying no, that's a tool, and accepting the idea of some chaos, some disorder, some mess in your life. If this makes sense to you and you're interested, maybe you want to talk about this more, please reach out. Contact me at chrislittle@chrislittlecoaching.com. I really love to have these conversations, and I would love to have the chance to talk with you. Shoot me an email and just say, hey Chris, I'd love to chat more. I'll get back to you and we'll set something up. Awesome.